Now at 5, the results of a federal investigation into the shooting of a suspect by a Miami police officer. Plus, details of a road widening project beginning in Joplin, and
a federal judge puts the Trump administration's buyout deadline for federal workers on pause. I'm Erica Brown at the White House with more on the legal challenges to the president's plans.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Federal investigators have cleared a Miami, Oklahoma police officer involved in the shooting death of a burglary suspect. This is KOIM News at 5. I'm Dow Quick. The shooting happened on December 27th. Police were called to a disturbance at an apartment complex near C Southeast Street and First Avenue. They encountered 49-year-old Jason Wilkins, who they said carried a large metal spike. Police say they told Wilkins to drop his weapon, but that he charged toward one of the officers. At least one officer fired a shot, and Wilkins later died at the hospital. The officer involved had been on administrative leave since the shooting. Now a U.S. Attorney's Office has determined the shooting was justified. City of Joplin is kicking off a road widening project on 20th Street. In preparation for the project, Liberty Utilities moved power poles this week. The area that will be widened runs from South Schifferdecker through Iron Gates Road. The road will be widened to 3 lanes, adding curbs and creating a shared use path for both bikes and pedestrians. 2 intersections will be changed to roundabouts, including the intersection on 20th and South Country Club Road. That's in an effort to promote safety. The city recommends people use 32nd Street while 20th is closed.
Even though it's just a small 2-lane road out in the country, it does have a lot of traffic because it's serving a lot of area. And making it easier, safer to get into and out of Joplin.
He says the city's in communication with businesses near the road work to inform them on what to expect. Construction will start especially at the end of March. Some Kansas lawmakers hoping to raise the state's minimum wage. Democrats in both the House and Senate have introduced bills to raise the state's minimum wage from $7.25 an hour to $15 an hour. In a post to social media supporting the proposal, Kansas Governor Laura Kelly said, quote, "There's no reason workers in Kansas should make less than workers in our surrounding states." Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy now for our first look at the weather.
Well, of course, it turned out to be another chilly, kind of dreary day across the region for us today. Temperatures kind of sitting 40 to about 42 degrees. And we're going to stay kind of in that region once again as we get into your Friday. 46 in Nevada, 41 in Anderson, 44 in Oswego. Neodesha is sitting at 48 degrees. Through the evening, slide back, upper 30s. We'll get some drizzle again very late tonight into the morning hours. But the clouds have been breaking up over the past several hours. So we've had little hints of sunshine, which is kind of nice to see. But let's go through the night. Watch the clouds. They're back in by morning. Drizzle back in by morning. So cloudy skies, kind of drizzly once again for us tomorrow. And then we'll transition into a few showers by Saturday morning. We also have some snow in the forecast. We're going to look at that here in a bit.
Catching a few. President Trump's executive orders are facing tough legal scrutiny, including 2 orders which federal judges blocked from taking effect today. Erica Brown has more details now from the White House.
Federal employees will have a little more time to decide whether to take the Trump administration's resignation offer. U.S. District Judge George O'Toole ruled that employees will have until at least Monday afternoon to consider taking the buyout when he'll hold another hearing on the issue. Unions representing federal workers have sued, saying the buyout violates the law and that the government doesn't have the funds to back the plan. Democratic lawmakers echoed those concerns.
I don't believe it's been funded. I don't believe Donald Trump has any history of ever paying his bills. And I fear that federal employees may be marked for later riffing, potentially without any compensation.
The White House says more than 40,000 federal employees have already accepted the offer as President Trump tries to slash the size of the government.
We encourage federal workers in this city to accept the very generous offer. If they don't want to show up to the office, if they want to rip the American people off, then they're welcome to take this buyout, and we'll find highly competent individuals who want to fill these roles.
In a separate legal challenge to the president's executive order ending birthright citizenship for children born to migrant parents, a federal judge in Seattle granted a national injunction calling the order clearly unconstitutional.
During a hearing in Seattle, Judge John C. Kuhnhauer, a Reagan appointee, said it has become ever more apparent that to our president, the rule of law is but an impediment to his policy goals. In this courtroom and under my watch, the rule of law is a bright beacon which I intend to follow. Washington and 3 other states joined this lawsuit seeking to block the order.
In this country, we are safeguarded by the constitutional principles we have and in adherence to the rule of law.
The government is likely to appeal the case all the way to the Supreme Court. Erica Brown, CBS News, the White House.
The Trump administration argues that citizenship can only be given to those with allegiance to the U.S., and children born to illegal migrant parents do not have such an allegiance. Still ahead, a second surge.
Flu cases are once again peaking for the second time this season. I'm Michael George with how to keep your family safe this winter.
Plus, research on the part of our brains that tells us to stop eating. Those stories coming up in Health Watch. Topping today's Health Watch, flu cases are peaking for a second time this season. The surge has led to some school closures across the country. Michael George has more on how to keep your family safe this winter.
Flu cases continue to spread around the country. Elizabeth McGuire's 7th grader is one of them.
I could see the waiting room was completely full when I went in there.
Earlier this week, Bullitt County, Kentucky schools had such a high number of student and staff illnesses, they closed for 3 days so crews could sanitize and deep clean the buildings.
I thought it was a great call on their end. All we can do is keep kids from getting sick, is to definitely keep their hands clean, and when they're sick, they need to stay away, stay at home.
At least 41 states are reporting high or very high levels of flu, and ER visits for the virus have increased nearly 30% compared to the week before. 250,000 hospitalizations are reported to date, and more than 11,000 deaths.
These cases are staggering, but they're not unlike numbers we saw pre-pandemic. We got a little bit spoiled after the pandemic because of precautions that people were taking, and what that resulted in is a little bit of an immunity gap, where society as a whole is less immune, we have slightly lower vaccination rates, and so our defenses are slightly down.
Dr. Rabia De La Torre with NYU Langone Health reminds us that antiviral medications are available, which when given within 1 to 2 days of symptoms can shorten the duration of illness.
We tend to recommend it for people who are high risk, immunocompromised, very young children, pregnant women, people who have severe comorbidities like heart disease or diabetes.
And even in February, doctors say as long as the flu virus is circulating, anyone who's eligible should get vaccinated if they haven't already. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
And a development on the bird flu front. A second type of bird flu has been detected in dairy cows in the state of Nevada. This is different from the version that's been spreading since last year and raises new questions about a wider spread of bird flu and the difficulty of controlling infections in animals and in people. Researchers at the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute say all patients with clear cell renal cell carcinoma in a clinical trial had success with a personalized cancer vaccine. The vaccine trains the body's immune system to recognize and eliminate tumor cells. This was an early trial with just 9 patients, so more research is needed. Worldwide, only 7 in 100 people are getting effective treatment for their mental health or substance use disorders. Researchers from the University of British Columbia found the biggest reason is that nearly half of people with mental health or substance abuse issues don't recognize they need treatment. Even among people who do think they need help, only about a third actually seek it out. And scientists at Columbia say they've discovered the part of the brain that tells us to stop eating. A study on mice found a specific neuron interprets how much food we've eaten and tells us when we've had enough. By activating that neuron, the mice ate much smaller meals. The hope is to one day use this knowledge to treat obesity. And that is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, stocking up for the Super Bowl.
The big game is almost here. I'm Cristian Benavides with why your wallet may be what takes a hit as you watch the Eagles take on the Chiefs.
Plus, we have some more rain and snow chances in the forecast. We're going to look at that. Well, of course, another gloomy day outside for us today. The glooms have been continuing with the cloudy skies and a little bit of drizzle here and there. We had some drizzle during the morning hours. Nice shot. Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. A little bit of sun peeking through during the afternoon, but in general, 3 straight days of gloomy conditions. All right, it's Thursday. New drought tracker updates. We're still dry, most of us in the yellow. We still have moderate drought from Joplin up toward Nevada. But again, way better than what we saw a few months ago. 42 in Lamar, 36 Monette, 43 in Grove. We have 48 in Chanute. So a little bit of a variance across the region, mainly due to cloud cover, but some clearing. Sitting at 40, northerly winds 5 to 10. Visibility is good. We should stay away from the fog tonight because we have a little bit of a breeze. Hang out upper 30s for the night. All right, so you can see the clouds kind of thinning out just a bit. We may even go to mostly clear skies for a short segment before the clouds start to build back in later on tonight. Here's our next little wave out across the western third of the country, which will start to affect us once again, especially we have a weak one tomorrow and then another one moving in on Monday and Tuesday. Here come the clouds later on tonight. Here's a little drizzle once again to start your day on Friday. Temperatures will warm only into lower 40s. By noon, cloudy, little drizzle. By afternoon, cloudy, a little bit of drizzle. Most of us 43, 44, 45 degrees. As we go into Friday night, a drizzle continues, and then we go over to a few showers by the time we start the day on Saturday. Temperatures may briefly warm Saturday morning to about 54 or 55, and then they'll drop back into the 40s once again as we get into the afternoon hours. But we do clear out Saturday night heading into Sunday morning. All right, first off, day planner Friday, 39 start, 40 by noon, high temp 43. Let's look at the weekend. Few morning showers Saturday, mostly cloudy skies on Super Bowl Sunday. But we do have a very active week next week. So let's move into it. We're always on that rain snow line. That's just kind of where we live. But again, kind of on that rain snow line. As we get into late Monday, we'll see if this shifts north or south or stays put. But slight snow and sleet start to pop up late Monday into Monday night. And then into Tuesday morning, you can see in the pink, that's kind of the sleet. And then eventually ending with all snow. Accumulations are possible. Could be kind of 1, 2, 3 inch range. We'll just have to watch it. We get a little bit of a break. Look at this. Some additional snow showers on Wednesday. Then a stronger system moves out Thursday, giving us bands of snow and sleet again. So that's 2 systems we need to watch next week. And we could even really say 3 because we have chances next weekend as well. A drizzle tomorrow, 43, 54 Saturday, but in the morning. 42 Sunday. We have our wintry mix late Monday into Tuesday, a few snow showers Wednesday, Thursday, wintry mix again next weekend. Much colder next week. So it gets active again. We got a lot to watch over the next 10 days.
Eventually we're going to get through winter, but we're not there yet. Nope. Thanks, Doug. Like any industry, the world of journalism and news is constantly changing. Of course, that means there's a constant need for young journalists. Well, the JET HD program at Joplin High School works to bring up that next generation of journalists. One student in particular is trying to use what she learns in school and apply it back home, 7,000 miles away. Shay Ismoilova is an exchange student from the Central Asian nation of Tajikistan. She's already been given the chance to anchor Newscast for the JET HD program. Her teacher, Brad Douglas, says he's impressed with the work that he's already seen from her in a short amount of time.
If you are really curious for something, you do it because you're inside nature, inner nature, that pushes you to do this work. For example, learning English. For me, why did I learn English? Why did I start learning English? Because I love it.
We're going to have a lot more from Shay and her teacher coming up tonight at 6. Also coming up tonight, stocking up with snack for supper for a Super Bowl Sunday. How much should you expect to pay? That's just ahead in Consumer. Topping today's Consumer Watch, Google is cutting some of its diversity hiring targets. The tech giant joins a growing number of American companies that have abandoned or scaled back their diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. The move was outlined in an email sent to Google employees. It follows an executive order issued by President Trump that was intended in part to pressure government contractors to end their DEI efforts. Super Bowl Sunday is second only to Thanksgiving when it comes to the amount of food Americans eat. Prices for many party foods are higher this year, but some are actually cheaper. Christian Benavides takes a look at the numbers.
I would highly recommend you watch it.
The Titanic Brewery and Restaurant in Miami is gearing up for the big game, and chicken wings are at the top of the menu.
We get a lot of phone calls for to-go orders. A group will call and like, hey, I need 100 wings. Can you do it? And we make sure we're ready to do it.
Over the past decade, wings have exploded in popularity, and so have wholesale prices.
People will find this funny, but you know, chicken wings are more expensive than chicken breast. But because of the demand in the market, wings are higher than breast meat or any other meat.
Consumers are also feeling the pinch. According to a new report, shoppers buying raw wings at the store are paying 7% more than a year ago.
Chicken wings continue to be a fan favorite on menus before, after, and during the Super Bowl.
Wells Fargo agricultural economist Michael Swanson says guacamole is also a fan favorite, and demand is pushing up the price of avocados.
We're seeing avocados up about 11% from a year ago at this time.
But there is some good news. Beer prices are up just 2% from last year, and the prices for some other party favorites have actually gone down.
Tortilla chips, nacho cheese dip, potato chips, and frozen pizza are all less than last year. And even though wings are more expensive, the celery on the side has dropped more than 8%.
We're going to try to make as many people happy as possible.
Gilbert Martinez is the assistant general manager at Miami's American Social Bar and Restaurant and is expecting a packed house for the game.
Are you going to have enough wings?
We're gonna have plenty. Football, you got to have beer. It's got to be cold, and the wings, they got to be piping hot and fresh, and you can't run out.
That's why he will have 2,000 wings on hand to feed hundreds of hungry fans. Christian Benavides, CBS News, Miami.
And police are working to crack the case after a big egg heist in Pennsylvania. Some 100,000 eggs were plucked off the back of a trailer. The whodunit comes as egg prices have surged because of bird flu. The Agriculture Department predicts egg prices are going to soar another 20% this year. A final check of the forecast next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, what would you rather have, a raise or an extra day off? Tonight's Eye on America looks for an answer in a place where a 4-day work week is changing lives. Then on KOAM News at 6, an update on the Oklahoma legislation named after 2 teenagers who disappeared 25 years ago. Plus, we're going to hear more from the student in Joplin's Jet HD program, hoping to bring her broadcast training to her home country. And a preview of Fort Scott versus Labette County girls basketball, both ranked in the state's top 10. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. Retired Philadelphia Eagle star Jason Kelce and 25 of his lookalikes took to the streets of New Orleans. It was for a Where's Jason Challenge in collaboration with Marriott, in which participants were tasked with locating the former Eagles center to win a prize. The first teams to find Kelce won the chance to wake up inside the Caesars Superdome on Super Bowl Sunday. Of course, in addition to being an Eagles great, Jason is the brother of Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce. They played against each other in Super Bowl 57 a couple of years ago, and you will recall that it was Travis's team that won 57, and it's going to be Travis's team that will prevail again in 59.
Yeah, so what's it going to be like on Sunday for us? We're going to have cloudy skies across the region, so if you're doing a little local tailgating in the afternoon, we're going to be at about 40, 42 degrees and drop back through the 30s. I'm going to be inside watching a three-peat.
As will a lot of four-staters. Thanks for joining us. We're going to see you right back here at 6. Let's make it a great evening.